Given the number of macro lenses available for micro four thirds cameras, the Olympus 30mm f3.5 might be met with the kind of excitement normally reserved for a visit to the supermarket. The lens is slow, the design is nondescript, and the focal length means that you almost certainly already have it, or close to it, either in a much faster 25mm prime or a standard zoom. So, unlike a 45 or 60mm macro, it doesn't double as a portrait or short telephoto lens. I could finish the review now by summing it up like this. For boring people who like to take boring pictures, this is the ideal lens. I won't though, because while all my negativity is valid, there's more to this lens than that. Olympus's 30mm macro lens is about as simple as a lens can be. It has no controls other than a nicely wide fly-by-wire focusing ring. It's not weather sealed and doesn't come with a lens hood. A hood wouldn't be appropriate for macro anyway, since with its unusual 1.25 times life-size macro capability, the subject is only 14mm away. Nonetheless, for general use, one should have been supplied, even just a cheapo plastic one to protect the tiny front element. In use, this lens comes into its own. Focusing is fast, surprisingly so when going from say 5cm to infinity, even in low light. So the wide focusing range doesn't really need the focus limiting that the 60mm Olympus macro does. And it has less tendency to hunt back and forth too. Panasonic cameras with their pinpoint focus have an advantage over Olympus's when using this lens at very close distances, where total precision is necessary. I found that magnification and peaking work well together, and for very close-up work, handheld were better than autofocus, simply moving the camera back and forth by tiny amounts to nail the point. There's no stabilization in lens, so a stabilized body is best. When working at extreme close-ups, camera movement is magnified. As ever, for best results, use a tripod though. In keeping with its overall simplicity, there's no weatherproofing. That's it really. The performance is up to scratch, but not as good overall as its 60mm f2.8 stablemate. It is plenty sharp in the centre, but falls away at the edges a bit. This isn't noticeable in ordinary shooting, but if you want it for document copying, or even critical architectural work, you'll want to stop it down to 5, 6 or 8. With the 60mm, it's critically sharp edge to edge from f4 on, and only marginally less good wide open. But there's more to a lens than sharpness, and an unexpected attribute crops up here. 30mm is a rather beautiful, clean, contrasty image quality. Not clinical looking as the 12 to 40mm Pro Zoom is, just natural and a real eye candy, to me at least. It's just beautiful on land or seascapes, for example. I think it may be down to the fact that an f3.5 lens at this focal length just doesn't need to be complex in construction, and the lack of correction elements, rarer, special coatings, and so on mean the light is just interfered with less. So, what to make of a macro lens that is great for landscapes? For all normal macro, the sort you might do handheld, the lens is very good. For critical applications, it is less suited but perfectly adequate. The ability to make 1.25 times life-size images is handy, but as you'd expect, you need to be very precise. The short focal length brings you too close to the subject for my taste. One-to-one shots with flash are quite impossible. It also means that unlike most macros of 45mm and up, it won't double as a portrait lens, and if you use it for photographing people, you won't have much control over your depth of field. On the other hand, 30mm is a good focal length for landscapes and general photography, and the restricted maximum aperture then doesn't matter, especially with the super effective stabilization standard now. The extra £700 for a 25mm f1.2 is only worth it when you're using it wide open, fast moving subjects, or want the most restricted depth of field. f3.5 is rather unexciting by modern standards, but the price and all-round usefulness make this 30mm rather an attractive buy. If this Olympus does appeal, I'd recommend looking at the Panasonic 30mm f2 macro as well. It's a bit cheaper and performance right across the frame is better even at f2.8. If you are in the market for a lens of this focal length, you shouldn't miss the Sigma 30mm f1.4. The price is similar, but it isn't macro, so you're trading that for the best part of 3 stops faster, with sharpness matching the Panasonic. Choice is choices. Thanks for watching.